Welcome back to SeaBATTLE 8 Octarian Moon. My name is Nato. I'm joined here by Riley. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. So we are coming up with the very last round here. We just saw That's My Scapegoat and Blue Moon Battlers head up against each other. But before we get into this next round, I just want to give a plug that we here at SeaBATTLE are collecting food donations for the Rainier Valley Food Bank. We've already collected 2 very large cans. Maybe you have to block this so we can see this a little bit better.
It's not going to work very well.
We'll see. They are absolutely adorable little. There we go. That's better.
Right?
Yeah. Eddie stickers and pins. If you donate money to the food bank, then you will get the sticker. If you donate food, then you will get the pin.
Yeah.
And all the art on these is drawn by
me.
Drawn by our very own Riley Rooster. It's amazing. I saw these earlier today, and I was like, oh, these are adorable. Then I learned that you drew them, and I was like, oh, that's fantastic. So.
Yeah, I'm so happy to have been able to help. Like, I've been supporting from the sidelines, I guess, and it's just nice to be able to lend some of my abilities, I guess, in ways that not a lot of people get the opportunity to.
Yeah,
so I'm really
totally.
glad.
But yeah, no, if you have food and you're coming to the event, please drop by, donate something. There's a list on our Discord server, and also you could come by, donate some funds as well. Those funds go directly to the Rainier Valley Food Bank. They're out there doing a very great cause for a lot of the community we have here in Seattle.
Yeah, of course. And it's the season too, with it being colder out. It's always useful to be able to, if you have the ability to lend some help in need, just giving a hand to those who need it. Absolutely.
So let's get in here into our round 3 as we roll out into our very first match between these two teams. We've got a communication error has occurred, and when we say communication error has occurred, doesn't mean a comm error has occurred. It's just the name of the team versus That's My Scapegoat, who we've seen twice already in a very interesting loadout from communication error. That's a flimsy roller. Is that?
Oh boy. I mean, yeah, it's very. You would. Okay. That Flakes had made quick work of the competition.
We could barely talk about the Flakes before they immediately started pushing up and getting some fantastic picks there. We've got
exact same thing, taking the words right out of That's My Scapegoat's mouth.
Oh, this is such a contest immediately as Meat Beep here on the Z+F Splatter Scope, a weapon we don't see a whole lot of. They've really been putting in a lot of work so far just to hold down mid here as Ollie narrowly avoids a shot from the Charger. It's pretty much been neutral here in mid.
Yes, and we're slowly seeing that communication error is able to get a couple of shots in order to take that mid advantage ever so slightly. We're going to see if That's My Scapegoat is able to hold up the fort down over by their basket, but we are seeing a potential push in. I'm not so positive, but I'm seeing Enki coming around the side, able to slowly group those members of communication error back into the field.
Yeah, like you said, the pressure from Enki is really key here because we saw the communication error had really pushed back That's My Scapegoat quite a bit, and then just that additional movement from Enki was able to kind of force them back again. We've returned to neutral. Like, no one has made a push yet, and it's been already a minute and a half.
Yes, and I'm very interested to see how these comps are faring. We're seeing Meat Beep actually, I think, they have a unique advantage right now going against Scapegoat just because Scapegoat doesn't really have a backline of their own to contest.
Did you just see that? Noir T here was able to get 1 and then a second. That's 3 down on the side of That's My Scapegoat. However, they just didn't quite have the clam economy to push immediately, and it looks like they're going to charge some specials before putting this push together.
Yes, and we're seeing that while Stolen Steady seems to be, well, I suppose it hasn't been winning the race yet, considering no points have been scored, as we are now under 3 minutes remaining. But we are seeing really nice tag teaming by these teams as we are slowly approaching the basket.
You know, that is a score, but generally in Clam Blitz, you want a little bit more than just the first ball, right? Because if you get the first ball in, that can easily be beat by the opponent just pushing a ball and then 1 clam. But honestly, impressive work from That's My Scapegoat. Things look kind of dire there for a second because it was only really Barry who was up, and they're able to defend already. Nico with the patented Reef Slider coming in, getting a pick. It's just the Arrow Spray alive. I think this is probably going to be a significant push coming out from the side of That's My Scapegoat.
And with a wipeout, that will almost definitely ensure it. We are seeing Barry being able to hold his own, gathering the remaining clams left behind by his teammates as Sonic comes in to try and clear some space, unfortunately knocked down by Ollie. Nico and Ollie bringing in the remainder to wrap up that game in a very quick turnaround.
Yeah, you know, that went from 100 to 0. That was a 100 to 0 push right there.
Yeah.
And what's really interesting about that, the way That's My ScapeGOAT handled that match, is they were, I would say, in disadvantage for a decent portion of it. A lot of it was just stally mid, just do whatever, try to avoid. But they were actually 2-3 down multiple times while communication error was just trying to find picks on them. And communication error, like if we just look at this replay here, they were able to clear out communication error once and then twice, getting them down to just the arrow spray being alive. And that is what you have to do if you're going to push 100 to 0.
Yes, exactly. From at least this map, we were able to see communication error had like a slower, steadier map, composition.
Yeah.
Like they had the splat charger, they had the flingza.
Yeah.
They want to play slow and steady, and they want to space them out. But as soon as That's My ScapeGOAT is able to get in, they have the weapons that are going to be winning those 1v1s, 1v2s, and they are going to be the ones being able to secure that hold.
Yeah.
So
and they really did a good job securing that hold. Like
really
like as you were talking about earlier, on the push, Nico came out with the reef slider, got the pick, but then the rest of their teammates sort of just rallied around them and like collapsed on the members of communication error. Although I want to say communication error, I think at the beginning of the map at least, caught That's My ScapeGOAT kind of off guard with their comp, because the Z+F charger, in addition to a foil flingza roller, is pretty uncommon. Like, foil flingza, that's a weapon I do not see, and Smiley Face was doing a really good job just sort of playing with their team to try to get picks there. So impressive work from them.
I love what I've been seeing recently from flingza players, where they're playing more as like a midline, flexible, doing their own thing kind of, rather than filling that traditional role of the backline for the team. Because I remember seeing that a lot more some months, a year ago or whatever.
Because flingza used to be just like a sit back and spam missiles weapon.
Exactly.
Right? It would be like, I'm just going to paint 2,800 this match and get like 12 missiles. It's like, so I guess that was before the missile nerf, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
And now, and I think the Smiley Face is actually Noob1957, who is the team captain of Communication Error. They were playing, to your point, kind of up with their teammates. We saw Sonic there and Noir T as well, kind of playing more frontline, and they were falling in behind, getting those horizontals and those verticals to take down members of That's My ScapeGOAT. And I'm really curious to see if they want to stay with this Aerospray Brush comp, because the Aerospray Brush together definitely has the flank reef slider thing, but it also is a little bit weaker in terms of midline pressure. So let's see if they change or if they stay the same.
All right. I see the Aerospray, and we are going into the Wellspring comps, which is very interesting. Haven't seen that. Have we seen that yet today? I don't think we have.
We've seen a couple of bows come out, especially in the last map we saw, but Wellstring is really interesting on Rainmaker because it can definitely do a bunch of pop and get a lot of pressure from a long way away. And already we see Nico coming out and just using that reef slider to put a ton of pressure on Communication Error, but Communication Error is firing back. They've got Noob, I believe that is, on aka Smiley Face, down in the lower left, kind of ratting around, and they've slowed them down. However, that's not good when you have 3 members headed down here, and Sonic already has put a bunch of pressure with this wiper. They've almost got the hammer ready.
Oh, yes, and we are now seeing, with that hammer prepared, able to take out the attempted flank by Barry, and we are seeing Sonic being able to push ahead. Unfortunately, the Rainmaker has been stopped in its tracks by Enki, as we are now in a slightly disadvantaged neutral, trying to break back in, trying to make that reset happen, or just grabbing the Rainmaker, it appears, and hopefully being able to collapse and build on, capitalize on their picks as they get them. We're seeing Barry able to successfully avoid that hammer throw, unfortunately landing on Nico. And we, very, very similarly as to a couple of moments ago, stopping right there at that rail.
You know, I was about to say Communication Error is in a terrible space here because they've lost too many people, but Noob has put in so much work playing front line on this flingza here. Found one, found 2, almost finds 3, gets the assist on the last one. However, this is going to not be a push because their Rainmaker is still back on their side of the field, and it looks like Meat Beep is choosing to paint up rather than pick up, and maybe that's the right choice because they get another pick. Now the pickup comes through. Can they get the pick they need?
All right, Norty having to try and deal with the, looks like a 2 or 3 member collapse on top of them. Meat Beep able to get the pop, get rid of the remaining members and hopefully continue this push.
Yeah, 2
Unfortunately,
down.
having to fight Enki, and Enki is able to take the KO, stopping just short of the checkpoint.
You talked about Enki earlier, and Enki just did the exact same thing that he did earlier. Like sitting up there and being that last line of defense to that communication error pushing up. He has basically saved them the first checkpoint twice now, and it seems like kind of like the beginning of the first game. Things have been very back and forth. We see 2 members down on the side of That's My ScapeGOAT. We see 2 members down on the side of communication error, but every single time, neither of these teams is able to push to the checkpoint.
Yeah, this is a really close game when you think about it. Barry able to successfully dodge yet another hammer throw, slowly making their way over to the checkpoint. Able to make another dodge, get the kill with the blast. Unfortunately, a jump in comes through with the Flingza yet again, and that Flingza is just catching everyone off guard. Do not underestimate this player because, oh my gosh, they will make sure you regret it.
Noob jumped in with Flingza Roller and got 2 on the jump. That is something I have not seen a Flingza player do for a very long time, and I think they're just proving how well Flingza can work on the defense and the offense, and we're back again to a stall. Like every single time a team picks up the Rainmaker, they can't get it past 70 points in mid.
I love hammer throws. I love hammer throws so much.
Getting the trade there.
All right, and yeah, and just being able to rat around as this Flingza is crazy to me. I don't have much familiarity with Splatoon 2, so Splatoon 3 Flingza is all I've ever known. And just being able to see its change and and this player being able to really be like, hey, I'm going to make you respect these heavyweight rollers.
This time it's Nico who's able to assist with stopping the Rainmaker. The 3rd or 4th attempt for communication error to push up the ramp has just not panned out. And finally things are moving more in the side of That's My ScapeGOAT, where they have sustained pressure on the opponent's ramp, and the Rainmaker is right here. They need to avoid some bombs, but I do think with the Reef Slider coming out from the side of Nico, we're probably going to see a lead switch here if Sonic can't come out big, or maybe Meat Beat, but no, the wipeout. The same thing we saw in the previous game where finally That's My ScapeGOAT is able to get them down. What are we going to see here?
All right, we are able to see, the first checkpoint break of the game with 30 seconds remaining now. Able to make a great push in, down to 32 points. We're going to have to, communication error is going to have to make quite the run in order to be able to tie this game up, go into overtime.
You know, it's very difficult because now at the point they've lost momentum, things have become less stally, and I'd say that things have actually gone more in the favor of That's My ScapeGOAT. Although I will say, not being able to cancel that coming out and leaving only Barry alive will give this communication error a chance to come back.
But the bomb kills them right before the grab.
Pickup. I was about to say they will have another chance, and it was no. The answer was no. I spoke too soon.
Both of us immediately, hands to our head. No. Oh my gosh, that was a amazing finish. I always love when those surprise endings occur. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. So you said it. The first checkpoint was broken with 30 seconds left. That was a stall game for 4.5 minutes.
It really was. I think that comes down to both the skill on both teams as well as the familiarity that we're seeing with these uncommon weapons.
Totally.
Like,
yeah.
I'm a believer that like any weapon can reach really high highs.
Any weapon can work. Totally.
Any weapon has a really high skill ceiling, and as long as you're able to like be willing to put in the effort to learn your weapon and know what its strengths are, you can make it work. And we are seeing that, like, and especially when it's something that other people are going to underestimate.
Totally, because you talked about, you said the ratting Flingza Roller. Like, who expects the Flingza Roller to be playing forward? We saw Smiley Face, a.k.a. Noob, basically swim through mid and get behind their opponents multiple times that match to get 1 or 2 down. And I think that the only reason why they weren't able to convert that into a first checkpoint break was because every single time there was always someone on the ramp of That's My GOAT who just clutched up and got a Rainmaker pick, buying their teammates enough time to get back in. Had we seen a proper wipeout happen for communication error the same way that we saw That's My ScapeGOAT at the end, I think maybe it could have been opposite. We could have seen that communication error pushing all the way to their base and getting a push to 30.
Yeah, 100%. Like, oh my gosh, I am so excited to see how Game 3 goes.
Yeah, Game 3 haggle. Game 3 haggle zones, even better.
I've been so out of the loop with this game. Like, I can't even tell. Like, I don't even know if, like, people that are in the loop are going to know if Zones Hagglefish is a good map for Flings a Roller. Like, I don't know how many people you can ask and will have a confident
I think
answer.
screen is pretty powerful here. The deal is you can't cover both the right flank, the left flank, and the center with screen.
That's true.
You could cover part of the center and part of the right flank, part of the center, part of the left flank. You can't cover all of it. But the more interesting thing for me in terms of Hagglefish Market is that it gives you a flank on the left and a flank on the right that even if you can't like immediately get into the opponents, you can at least put pressure up there.
Yes.
And we've already seen, especially with the brush on the side of Communication Air and the Flings Roller, like we were talking about, flanks can kind of work out pretty well for them, and we see a pretty big change. So we saw Nico play this earlier. The reflex is back.
We've got an Explosher.
Is that an Explo Big Swig comp from the side of Communication Air? I'm living for this.
I mean, like, if you want to try and exploit those changed hitboxes, this might be the way to do it.
And, you know, Big Swig paints like crazy, so like maybe Explo Big Swig together, they're just going to win in terms of paint. But Nico goes in and just immediately picks up a kill with Barry pulling on the left-hand side. And that is
a quick wipeout.
Very quick wipeout. You know, the early paint went in the side of the Communication Error. They had enough painting, but unfortunately the fights just really didn't. And in this particular case, That's My Scapegoat won enough fights in a row to just wipe them out, and now they're in a holdout situation.
You know, we're so focused on looking at this Big Swig Explo comp, we're just, like, still looking at the opposing side of the field, like...
Oh, yeah, we didn't even talk about that.
Yeah, I know, like...
Reflex plus Claws 96 Gal plus Roller plus the... whatever the Bamboo Mark II or whatever it is that's called. Sorry, Ollie, I should probably know that. Two wild comps coming out, and finally Control has swifted swiftly in the flavor of Communication Error. And we see Nico just basically spamming for special on left-hand side, and Smiley Face doing what they've done, choosing to go for the pick here. And I don't know what's happening.
That was a double kill.
Getting a Reef Slider on Reef Slider fight down in bottom left, and another pick. Communication Error is definitely going to get a lead swap here, and maybe a lot more.
Car crash into a pile up, as we now see. As we now see Communication Error trying to now hold their mid as they are in the lead, trying to secure some more points down, as we can see. Oh, wow, they're able to keep maintaining. This mid fight is now 3-on-1, it looks like, and that goes over to ScapeGOAT.
You know, Noir T did an excellent job holding there, because that's like an arrow spray against 3 weapons painting, but it's an arrow spray, so of course. But as we see now, That's My Scapegoat finally getting penalty, much needed penalty applied on the side of Communication Error, who was able to push all the way down to 28 and finally getting their turn to get 3 down. We're back into the lockout situation, and last time Communication Error got out by basically getting paint and specials on top of each other, and they're going to have to charge those pretty quick if they want to do the same here.
Yeah, I'm seeing the Whale now let out as we have the arrow spray, and all 3 waiting now.
Okay.
And there we see them. Okay. And oh my gosh, I'm just out of words. Okay.
Too much chaos
I don't know what's happening. I don't know what I'm watching.
The long story was that an amazing series of Reef Slider plus Splashdown immediately capped the zone in terms of Communication Error. And then another Splashdown came out to take out another member on the side of That's My Scapegoat. You know, we don't really think of Big Swig and Explosher as being the most explosive weapons, but in this particular case, they've really proved themselves using their specials, and still, Smiley Face here is not giving up the fight as they continue to come down and push an extra point and lead with 2 members down. They still have the zone. They still have it. And one more goes down. Nico is down. It's just Ollie up on the ramp. If they can get Ollie, it's basically over. And what a showing from Sonic at the end. With the aura.
Dude had the aura.
Sonic just popping off in the last 10 seconds of the match saying, "That's my Communication Error. That's my GOAT there." What a fantastic showing from them. You know, we talk about adjustments. Sorry, I'm excited by it. We talk about adjustments, Riley. I wasn't expecting the adjustment to be Big Swig Roller. Like, generally, we think about adjustments. We don't think Big Swig. Look at this replay here coming out from Sonic. Nico is trying to paint the zone, gets 2-tapped by Sonic, immediately goes down. Sonic comes up, gets the pick on Ollie, and then just eviscerates Enki coming out. You know, 2-0, 2-1 favor in the side of That's My Scapegoat. They win the set, right?
Yes.
But really good showing from Communication Error.
Yeah, they were
able.
They were definitely able to be like, hey, we may have lost the set, but we weren't going down without a fight.
Yeah. They
and
totally were not going
definitely
down without a fight.
still do demand respect on their weapons. They do have a really good skill.
They absolutely do, and I am so excited to see what this team puts out for the rest of today because, like, if we're gonna see Arrow Spray plus Explo plus Big Swig, what else is this team capable of? Like, they could probably play just about anything.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to it because oh my gosh, I love the surprise weapons whenever they come out.
I totally do too.
And
so
there you can see very briefly. Enki taking notes on how that game went. I was able to talk with him in between sets earlier, and he's taking notes just like on personal gameplay, and he's been doing this for like the past month, and he's like, I've seen more improvement like with this note taking and this mindful gameplay and understanding of your own skills.
Yeah.
Like,
well, it's worked out great for Enki so far today because he has put up a series of amazing shows so far with us. And I think with that actually concludes Wave A. So Wave A should be wrapping up pretty soon. But stay with us, folks. We still have Wave B, rounds 1 through 3, and then we have Redemption, we have Silver, we have Gold Bracket. We have a lot of Splatoon coming up here the rest of the day.
Oh, yeah.
Any final words for the audience, Riley?
I don't believe so.
All right.
Look forward to seeing you all again.
Look forward to seeing y'all soon. Stay with us here at SeaBATTLE 8.